Okay. I'd like to open the meeting with the pledge of allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Margaret, could you read the mission and vision statement, please? Or do you want Sue to do it because you have a mask? Or okay.
Okay, mission statement. The Falmouth Public Schools create world-class student learning experiences. Our clippers are empowered to pursue their goals with curiosity, integrity, and resilience. The Falmouth Public School vision: clippers are creative, inquisitive, and engaged learners who participate in their community as socially responsible citizens. Clippers effectively communicate and solve problems that impact the world around them.
Okay. I have to ask, is anybody recording tonight? The meeting, okay. So we will open with public comment, and I'm gonna ask for it to be very tight tonight. Okay, we can't, it's only 3 of you, and we have to wicked strict to the time limit tonight, okay? So if you could come up and state your name and your comment.
I'm gonna do my usual 1 minute, 45 seconds, and then the 15, and then that'll be a little 15-second, okay? Perfect.
Hello, I'm Sarah Bogdan. It's incredibly frustrating to attend meeting after meeting, rehashing the same discussions that could have been avoided with a more thoughtful approach from the start. Meeting with community, families, and teachers first could have resolved many of these issues from the beginning. Instead, families who have shown up time and time again are sacrificing time with their loved ones to do the work that should have been done by those in charge. We've crushed the numbers, we've done the legwork, and frankly, we've done more to ensure the strong future for the children of this town than many of you have. As elected officials, you have a responsibility to ask the right questions, and most of you don't. There was a lack of accurate data presented, no analysis of that data or where it came from, and no meaningful questioning of how these decisions would impact an already marginalized community. The parents who raised concerns early on should be praised for highlighting the flaws in the process long before it officially began. Their attention to the inconsistencies and gaps in the navigating the future proposals that simply didn't make sense was both thoughtful and prescient. Moving forward with a plan that wasn't fully thought through and attempting to carry it out so swiftly within the schools would disrupt the education of some of our most vulnerable students. What's even more disheartening is the way parents have been dismissed, labeled as hysterical, or being eye-rolled after comments when all we've done is advocate for our children. That's not hysteria, that's love, and that's commitment. You were elected to serve this community. That means listening, asking tough questions, and doing the hard work. I hope this has been a learning moment and that you carry these lessons forward in future decisions. And I also have a letter from some of your community that would like to know the $10,000 sent by the state to hire a truancy officer. Where did the money go? And I'll email that tomorrow too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another person?
Hello, Deanne Rockwood. Last Thursday, I attended the NASDAQ hearing held at the high school. I was struck both by the lack of audience members and that we had a consultant tracking and writing questions from the audience. As at past forums, there was no opportunity to engage, and once again, we got to ask questions but got no answers. I'm not sure why we paid someone to take notes, nor do I understand why not all comments from those on Zoom were shared at the forum. This doesn't seem transparent. Could that be why people aren't tuned in because they don't trust the process? I believe this committee needs to start narrowing down some decisions so that the Building Needs Task Force can thoroughly vet the options in front of us. Parents have extrapolated data from the NASDAQ report and applied it to all projections. Based on building capacity, 3 elementaries are not an option for us for at least 3 years. To equitably redistribute both students and programs, start the process of redistricting now. Ask NASDAQ to look at the upper grade levels as well. Can 5th go down? Not without redistricting. And what's stopping us from tackling the issue of declining enrollment in the upper grades today? I know families that are leaving the district with their emerging 5th graders, not because they want to, But because this administration will not consider adding a morning YMCA program at Morse Pond, I thought we were surveying families to find out what we can do to keep them in our district. Lastly, I've asked for school committee members to talk to staff and listen to our ideas and suggestions to no avail. You've been invited to join FEA members at the rec center this Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. You will hear the results of our survey, and these findings could be quite valuable when you evaluate the performance of Dr. Durham. After all, DESE suggests our thoughts and feelings be included in such an evaluation. Please don't miss this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Melissa, could you turn off the warning timer? I don't need it. I'll just
Sure.
take the 2 minute.
Yeah, hang
And
on.
I'll just stop when your 2 minute timer goes
Sure,
off.
hang on, let me just add
Okay,
a 2 minute
thank you very
back.
much.
No problem. Aaron.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Megan Zottely. I would like to review the law to begin. MGL Chapter 71, Section 83. School officials shall not abridge the rights of students as to personal dress and appearance, except if such officials determine that such personal dress and appearance violate reasonable standards of health, safety, and cleanliness. As school officials, you are responsible for making sure the school is following policy according to Massachusetts state laws. The court case Pyle versus School Committee of South Hadley determined under a settled law that dress codes like the one implemented at Lawrence School unconstitutionally restrict students' rights to freedom of expression. This was a case that involved the school committee, the superintendent, and the principal of the school. There is a reason why Lawrence School is a minority in the public schools of Massachusetts implementing restrictive dress codes. It is because it is against the law. As school committee members, you are school officials, and you will have to make a decision about the dress code. Line by line on the items that students at Lawrence School are not allowed to wear, you will need to ask yourself if these items violate reasonable standards of health, safety, and cleanliness. Here are some items on that list: leggings, shirts without collars, corduroy, variegated patterns, jeans, logos, yoga pants, sweatpants, red, yellow, or pink pants. How do these articles of clothing violate reasonable standards of health, safety, and cleanliness? I'm asking you to review the items that students at Lawrence School are not allowed to wear according to the handbook, and ask yourself if this dress code violates state law as I read. I ask that you take this on as an agenda item and vote to remove the dress code as it is currently written at Lawrence School urgently. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Nobody else? Okay. Thank you as always for adhering to the 2 minutes. It's very helpful. Okay, the next item on the agenda is a presentation of Lawrence School highlights, and Principal Bushy, are you going to speak? Or is,
No, I'm sorry. So this was our thought. They had presented in November. And they will, they're not here today because every school goes once. So it was just an error that it was on the
okay,
agenda, sorry.
I understood that. I just didn't know if Mr. Bushy
Oh.
was gonna
Oh, I don't think so.
say anything.
Do you want to say something? I'm sorry.
In the future, of course.
Yes. okay.
Oh, Bulldogs, yeah, something like
Don't
that,
think it would
right?
be fair that you have to do it right now.
Okay, so then I can breathe a little easier with this time frame. The time frame is, in case the public doesn't know, is because some of these members are town meeting members, so that's why. The next item on the agenda is the review of the superintendent's goals progress.
Thank you. So I will go through. We've seen this several times, so although it's not moving for me. It's
Something else in this one.
well, but I'm hitting the button. It's just delayed. I know sometimes I've done it and then it goes 3 slides ahead, but it's not moving.
Did it disconnect from my phone? Try to get next slide.
Well, I'm on the. I'm sorry, what? There, okay, now it's done. Okay, so here we go. Okay, good. So just as a reminder, July 1 through today is the evaluation timeline. And goal 1 is the student learning goal. It is to ensure equity audit results are addressed by strengthening the bright spots and creating a plan to address the areas for improvement selected by the school community. Just as a reminder, the equity audit was done last year. There are 3 equity goals district-wide. And I made it one of my goals to ensure that the equity audit goals are addressed by the district. So the standards that are being addressed are the data-informed decision-making, environment, communication, and cultural proficiency. So the first was the student learning experience goal. I won't read all of these. I know we've been over these several times, but it's basically focused on the curriculum and the professional development, culturally responsive teaching. And we will start here. So, and of course, that is in the way for me. Okay, so the ELA curriculum for grades K to 6 has been selected. I'm happy to say Dr. Tyler has been giving updates throughout the year. It was unanimously selected by the teachers that did the field testing and by the HQIM, the high quality instructional materials team. Professional development will begin in May and will continue through next year with an implementation start in the fall with our new curriculum. And the curriculum is education. Introduction of investigating history in grades 5 and 6 is underway. Engagement with the community partners to bring culture, identity, and stories into the classrooms has been going on all year. Collaboration among multilingual educators, general education teachers, and special educators for materials selection and implementation. So it was the collaboration of working for grades 5 to 12. School-based equity teams are building a professional resource library for teachers and families. And the multi-tiered system of support is the other piece of this that we talked about that really played in goal 1 and goal 2, but reestablishing, I should say, we're renewing the practice this school year. Principals engaged in extensive summer professional learning and then ongoing monthly throughout the year. We've built MTSS school-based leadership teams. Continued professional development with Dr. Katie Novak. Principals are leading, facilitating, providing professional development, and participating in the instructional support teams known as IST process at the school level. And if you'll just give me 1 second, I gotta move this because I can't read. And then the admin and teams conducted regular walkthroughs for evidence of implementation of the MTSS process, also looking at schedules and maximizing time on the subject and time for interventions, for instance, at our younger grades, the WIN blocks. So all of that has been looked at and improved, and this was the equity goal that you have had updates from Dr. Tellier 3 times, 3 times during this school year. All right. And we're going to be patient. Just thinking. You were my lucky charm before. Could you?
Yeah, next to you, make it go.
Yeah. I'm afraid if I hit it too many times, it's gonna like just jump too far ahead. I could just like, oh, see.
Hmm.
Okay.
Maybe stop the screen.
Stop the stream share.
And try starting.
No, well, I've got to totally. Don't have that. This is not good. Okay. Okay. Back to the screen share. It moves the other one.
Just say her.
Exactly. Okay. All right, so the second step in the equity audit was to look at our student discipline and the student code of conduct. So a consistent system, the Power Schools behavioral support has been adopted this year across all grades K to 12. We are working on consistent understanding agreement across all admin K to 12. We believe that we have reached that agreement. Work continues with the development of a guide that will outline the best practices for implementing MTSS, the social, emotional, and behavioral interventions, academic support, and restorative practices. All APs and secondary principals meet regularly to ensure consistent implementation of applied behavioral supports and referrals when warranted. And this is using that Power Schools behavior support this year. And then the elementary principals are aligning their practices and will begin implementation next year. So it was a 2-year rollout. Regular informal feedback from students, staff, and families for continual refinement and application of the discipline code. The third step, and I should say that you've heard updates from Henry St. Julian on the goal 2 around the behavior. And the third step, we have heard from Sandy on a few occasions about the 2-way communication. So here, principals establish quarterly routines for gathering ongoing feedback from families. Unfortunately, it has not yielded the number of responses that we were hoping for. Also, continued efforts on ensuring Power School information is current. We are making great progress in that area. We're down to 3 undeliverable phone numbers. It's down from 28 in February. And we have 3 families that still have no emails. It's down from 11 in February. So all year you can see that we have been making progress. And there's right now there's 38 undeliverable emails in the system. That is district-wide. And it's down from 50 in February. So it was a goal. We've been actively trying to ensure that we have everyone's phone number and email so that we can make sure that our communications are getting to them, including anytime that we're putting out surveys so that we can get feedback from everyone. So great strides in that area. The talking points, Google Translate and other platforms have been implemented by teachers, admin, and secretaries at a more sustainable level this year. We're increasing the use of translators at events, meetings, and individual meetings with parents. The platforms used by teachers and admin allow for translation. Any communication that does not use a translation feature, we're transcribing in multiple languages. You'll see sometimes principals will send out multiple languages in their Friday message. And report cards are translated at the elementary level. We still are not automated at the elementary level with report cards. It is automatically translatable at the secondary level. We're still trying to figure out what the next step is but the report card is translatable. So they do receive it. It's just not electronic like the other grades. Still working on it. So that was goal 1. Goal 2 is the professional practice goal, build capacity among all employees of the district to implement environmental stewardship and sustainability education and practices related to their goal in the district. The standards that align with goal 2 is areas of the curriculum, environment, communications, and continuous learning. Goal 2, step 1 is to grow opportunities to educate students in environmental stewardship and sustainable practices. And here we have courses like Food Justice Initiative, Environmental Science at the high school, and then certainly part of the subjects, there's modules throughout the district. We also have our partners like MBL, WHOI, NOAA, Webner, MES, the Coonamessent River Trust that are all engaged in sustainability practices with our students. part of this, our scientific community partnerships. We also have looked at DESE's innovative pathway. We now have environmental, the pathways, environmental and life sciences, which we have been working on and making changes to. Right now, the discussions are ongoing. We want to make sure that the DESE pathway, if we do adopt it, aligns to our vision. And that it doesn't change it too much, because we have a lot focused on our blue economy. Again, through Justice Initiative, the maritime partnership that we have now. And, you know, all of our, you know, as I talked about, all of our living classrooms and our scientific community. And if we're going to do this, you know, we want to make sure if we joined another pathway that we are not losing the partnerships or our focus that we've already built. So the conclusion is not yet. In addition, because DESE is currently revising their science standards, so we're not thinking that this is the time to start anything new. But we are continuing with all of our work that we're doing in all this area. So the second area is explore and improve new and existing strategies to reduce waste. As you've heard with the steel cows, we've not been able to move to that yet, where it is a procurement issue as far as who we're contracted with. We are in conversations with them, hoping that we will get the steel cows so that we can save on not having all the individual milk cartons.
Haven't been able to move to that.
Well, that was
Missed
good.
that.
That was quite good. Thank you. We have not been able to move that. But the school and community composting is going well, and recycling. Just said that. Okay, so the next one is increase energy efficiencies. We have explored the federal and state grants and tax credits. Unfortunately, there's just as not many opportunities out there, or it's the restrictions on these grants and tax credits, where we will still continue, because we do believe it will become, or hope at some point that it'll become something that is beneficial for the districts to take advantage of. There are challenges and solutions somewhat to the electric vehicles. Our challenge still is the distance that an electric vehicle can travel. But working within that, there's a lot of places that our electric van that we had can travel, and we're taking advantage of that. Solar projects, there's the Article 21 on the town meeting tonight. School committee approved that. And so we'll see if town meeting votes tonight. And that first project was at Falmouth High School. And then the installation of high efficiency hand dryers has begun. We just installed 2 at Morse Pond. They are quite expensive. We do know that it's better for our environment, but we will have to go at a little slower pace because of the cost at this point. The next is the Healthy Schools through partnership with Farming Falmouth to bring fresh, nutritious food to the schools and increase green spaces. So we participated in the grant this year. We still have a couple meetings left. We visited Farm to Schools Working Farm in Martha's Vineyard, participated in the Mass Farm to Schools Retreat, participated in all of these are things that you heard at the mid year. We've participated in 7 coaching. We have completed 100% of our strategic plan. It is developed, and we are in implementation stages. The cafeteria, we've identified 3 local regional vendors that we're working with. Identified local regional food is being served. We've identified how to increase local procurement, and we're implementing the harvest of the month, as you know, incorporating more local food and new recipes in the cafeteria. We are working on the classroom. Part of it is we're working on the signage in the cafeteria and focusing on school gardens. The community part is getting more community, and Farming Falmouth, give them a shout out. They're coming in and looking at our gardens. And right now trying to figure out what infrastructure is needed. We're working on grants. We have, I think, 4 to date we have put out. We have I think we've heard from 2 or 3. We have not got any grants yet, but we're still looking at grants to bring our gardens up to speed, make them easier for students to engage. And so we're looking at that funding source. Thank you. Goal 3, implement a communication strategy focused on the community engagement and two-way exchange of ideas. And so the entire navigating the future through the fall, through all the engagement, was to get ideas. You know, sometimes as leadership, it's important that you carry out with your plan. And then there are times when you need to listen and change the course, which is what happened with goal 3. So we listened and the community was asking for an assessment. So we stopped. We said that there would be no implementation next year. Let's look at the assessment. And now we're, giving the Building Needs Task Force all the time that they need to study the assessment and to make any recommendations, at some point. We are moving forward as the school committee voted on the Lawrence renovation. And we will hear more about that. The standards here are data-informed decision-making, the environment, engagement, and communications. So a plan was developed. That was all the beginning stuff. We did have an outside communications strategist help us with the communications, set up the community forums, work on press releases and the letters, and that was Chris Horn, communication. And then we did a preview with the school committee and we made additional changes before rolling out. That was step 1, which is completed. Then implement the communication plan. This is when we, as I said, we started. The idea was these were proposed plans, but we wanted feedback. The PowerPoint itself allowed for interaction throughout the presentation. It also allowed for the community to discuss options within the communication. And then it became a point that we really needed to stop. We listened, as I said. We are, the last 3 are the points we are now. We got the NASDAQ report back in March 27th. The needs assessment or the building needs task force reviewed the NASDAQ and their assessment. And then the community forum just happened last Thursday on April 3rd. So even though some of the plan, this is as far as we are in the plan, it's in a good spot. And I think that rightfully so, we've changed courses. And that's it. Well, thank you.
Are there any questions or comments that anyone would like to make? Okay, thank you, Lori, and I'm glad you got the technical issue settled. Okay, now following up will be a presentation. Following up on the presentation will be a report from the evaluation subcommittee headed by Linda, who will break down the form that's used so the public and the school committee can.
Yes, so thank you, Terry. The subcommittee was actually headed by Chairperson Welch, and Margaret Souza and I are members of that subcommittee. And since Kelly could not be here tonight, Margaret and I will present, and this is going to be a very quick overview, just in the interest of time. So superintendent's evaluation process. This is the overview. It's a cycle self-assessment, which began in the summer. Analysis, goal setting, and plan development, which we voted on as a school committee. Implementation of the plan, which the superintendent gave us an overview of her implementation of her goals. We had a formative assessment evaluation meeting, and now we are at the point where we are doing the summative evaluation. And The overview briefly, all members review and track the evidence that demonstrates progress toward the superintendent's goals. Every presentation from Lori or staff that is tied to a goal or standard. Observations of meetings, events, communications that are tied to a goal or standard, and evidence in a tracking document, which I will show you the link for. All members of the school committee have met with the superintendent at the mid-year mark to discuss her progress. And now each member and all members are completing the year-end evaluation. I'm going to skip over the formative evaluation since that was essentially just meeting with the superintendent and going over her progress, and we've already done that. The summative evaluation, each school committee member will prepare an end of cycle summative evaluation report. And as Terry and Melissa had informed me, we will be getting those blank documents to each school committee member, hopefully by the end of the week, so that you can start to collect your thoughts. It's an assessment of the superintendent's progress on goals, performance on each of the standards, and an overall rating of her performance. I'm going to show you the links on the document that will bring you to the evidence that the superintendent has collected toward her progress, and additional data. And then you'll complete an end of cycle summation evaluation report. Okay, this is a quick walk through. These are the 4 indicators: exemplary, proficient, needs improvement, or unsatisfactory. And again, each school committee member will be getting this slide deck so you can dive into the descriptors of those, but those are the ratings. The superintendent must be rated on each of the 4 standards. In order to receive an overall proficient rating, the superintendent must receive a rating of at least proficient on the instructional leadership standard. So this is the document. Again, you will get a blank document to start to work on this, hopefully by the end of the week. And it will include a link that you see here to the superintendent's goals and her evidence. Oops, so hopefully I can get back to where I was. Okay, there we go. So that's the form, the links. And then this is the superintendent's performance rating for instructional leadership. And the link is to the DESI rubric. Oh, there's my arrows, which is there. And then for the operations standard, which the link again is to the DESI information, and engagement and communication. And then for professional culture, again, the links will be to the DESI information. And then this is the last page in the evaluation. And from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, each member does not need to sign it to submit it, because we're submitting these electronically to Chairperson Welch, who will collate them and produce the tallies. And then Margaret is going to be reviewing those tallies. And then we sign them in Sharon's presence. Is that correct, Sharon? Yes. So is there anything anybody wants to add?
Just one little pointer. You said this was the last page, and that's correct. Even though it's the first page, you do the data gathering on the other pages first. And if you have any specific things you don't understand, what indicator goes, or how to explain it or whatever, you can email anybody on the evaluation committee and they can give you further guidance.
Yes. And
Anybody have
oh,
any?
and I'm sorry, there's the timelines. So, just for edification, so we're having this meeting on the 7th. The deadline to submit your, individual evaluation is April 23rd. And then, between the 28th and May 2nd, the superintendent will meet with each of us regarding our evaluations. And then, if there are any amendments, May 2nd is the last day to do that. And then the other dates, that are less pressing at this point, we will, be presenting this information at future school committee meetings. And here are some other links to DESE and mask documents. And as Terry had said, don't hesitate to ask if you have any questions. So that is it. Okay.
Thank you very much to the evaluation subcommittee for putting that together and showing the timeline. And the 23rd is closer than you think.
Yeah.
It jumps up on you. Even on the 22nd, a lot of people will probably, not me, of course, I get mine done way ahead, no. But, okay. Next item on the agenda will be to act on the memorandum of agreement concerning assistant coaches, and Lori will explain that to us, please.
Yes, and thank you. We've already talked about it. So just to reiterate, we are adding an assistant coach to golf. And we are also on paper adding assistant tennis coach in case we ever need one in the future. Those are the only two sports that we do not have in the contract. So with an MOA with the union, FEA, we've agreed that we have assistant golf coaches. They should be paid per contract. So that's what we're waiting on for the MOA. Thank you.
Okay, so is there a motion to?
Make a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Looks like carries unanimously. Okay, next is an update from the superintendent, who I'm holding to the timeline too.
Well, thank you. I'll be quick, but I do have a couple exciting things to talk about. One, I want to give a shout out to the Model UN staff and students. First, I can't say enough about Danielle Velasic. She has taken on the Model UN, which is quite a bit of time and preparation, but it's an opportunity for our students, and not all high schools actually have a Model UN, but we do. And so it's very exciting, and I'm going to share here, I want to show you. Here are our students that went to Clark University in their opportunity at the conference, the Model UN conference, and just a little bit about it. We had about 18 students. They participated, and students took a role of a delegate from a specific country or historic character. During the day, they attend General Assembly meetings and crisis committees. Students can be recognized for being highly engaged, collaborative, and creative in their problem solving, as well as demonstrating excellent public speaking skills. Now, I'm going to give a shout out for 3 specific students right here. So we have Sam Goldstone, won a verbal commendation as a delegate from South Korea in a summit on modern humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan. Kareev, and I hope that Kareev actually said your name correctly. Kareev White won a honorable mention as Knight Bernal in a crisis committee on the shattering of the Elden Ring. Moss Junker, and this is this in order here. So Moss Junker won a verbal commendation as a delegate from France in a summit on the Dutch East India Company. So they do have, it's quite in depth. There's a lot of prep and a lot of work that goes into this, but congratulations to our 3 award winners. All of our students have participated, and a special shout out to Daniel Blessick for giving this opportunity to our students. Okay, And then I just wanted another update. I've been trying to give consistent updates about the Lawrence renovation. We're in our final draft form to be submitted, due at the state this Friday. We will have it turned in. There are no surprises in this whole assessment and prep and getting ready. It's within the scope and the cost that we predicted last spring and summer. We are within, so we're totally within the range. Something special, Paul, Tom Bushy, Don Drew, Steve Habib from the Habib and Associates who conducted the assessment, and James Reisfelder, which is our project manager. They're creating a video that's explaining the work of the assessment and the application. So it'll be available on the website. We will have both the application and you'll get to see this video of all the information about it. The timing did not allow for a presentation tonight because we were in a hurry. But it's going to be presented Friday, so we thought this was a way that not only the school committee, but our community could also see. We certainly didn't want to wait till May 13th to share information. So we're going to do something a little different, and that'll be up on the website. Probably not Friday, it's submitted Friday, but this week sometime. So, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Lori. Okay, the last item on our agenda is to conduct routine business, which would mean approving the minutes. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes
As
of
edited,
March 25th?
like the draft edit
Yes.
version, yeah. I'll make the motion to approve this.
Second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Abstaining?
Abstain.
Okay, one abstention, and any objections? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now I'd like to take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Make a motion.
Oh, excuse me. Does anybody have something before that? Sorry, Glenda.
I just wanted to very quickly, I think it's important for the community to know, I want to thank you, Terry. We're having an upcoming retreat workshop on communicating with the public, but with information from legal counsel to guide us by what we are legally allowed to do. So I appreciate the input from the community that has prompted us to do it, and I appreciate Terry following up and scheduling that. Thank you.
Okay. Also, we're gonna take a refresher so we can smooth out Robert's rules a little bit. We're gonna get a complete update on topics from our wonderful Sean Costello is our field manager from, we're in Division 7 of MASC. And we're gonna put together a specific list for him and polish up the daily operations as well. So, thank you. Okay. Does anybody else have any comments? I'm sorry. Yeah,
I wanted to ask, just, the agenda item that Mike had put forward that we pushed to the 13th. Somebody, I forget who, had suggested seeing if we could do that as its own special thing, so it doesn't like make that meeting huge. I don't remember who suggested that.
okay,
Again, but
we'll put it under,
I don't know exactly how to present that, but that was an idea.
new
that was,
business maybe.
Suggested.
Okay, we'll list it under that, where we look into things.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
okay.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions or no's? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't